Hi, this is Paul with Autolight Review, the channel of interest to anyone involved in automotive lighting. Okay, today we're looking at the DRL LED module out of a Ram 1500. I think this is year 2014 and newer. I wanted to show this to you guys because this is a really high quality example of OEM work. I've worked with a couple different ones. I've got the Challenger 15 here. You can see that's just a couple dinky boards. You got the 13, 14 Mustang boards here. I've seen a lot of these, but this one is pretty nice. So let's go through it and see how this thing works. Take a look at what goes into it. So when taking a look at this, the first thing you'll notice, of course, is the chrome reflector housing, just electroplated plastic, of course. What strikes me interesting about this is it's just the LEDs are shining down directly into the reflector and bouncing out. This is a very common design in emergency vehicle lighting where you just need to project the light along a horizontal plane, not up and down. So you see this a whole lot in that industry, is the LEDs facing downwards into the reflector bowl and actually being directed out. This of course does a very good job of filling out the light evenly in the, in that reflector housing and directing it out horizontally. So good design there, very simple, very well used in the emergency lighting industry as far as I'm aware, but a good design overall. So moving past that reflector, this just slides out, and inside we have the entire housing for the boards. Now these boards are actually riveted in place. I don't know if you can see that, but there's individual rivets going straight through this huge aluminum piece here, which is of course to really dissipate the heat well, but man, I mean, this thing is solid. That's what I mean. They really spared no expense when it came to this assembly here. So these are actually riveted in place, but I've gone ahead and removed those. So we got this is the upper board, I guess, marked on the control panel. You have PU and PL, so power upper, power lower, I assume, or passenger maybe. I'm not sure which side this is. Let's see, LH marked there. Yeah, I don't know. But the boards here, if we take those out, those come right out. And just looking at the entire housing here, like I said, QC marks all over this thing. The control panel is directly mounted to here too. I'm not going to take this out. I don't want to risk damaging this board at all that's in there, trying to undo those rivets, because I mean that was tough. I had to take these things to a drill press to drill through those rivets. But also coming off this board, of course, is then the little side marker board. Now what's interesting about this little board here is the LEDs on them. Actually, they're the board is all marked on on one side, a couple FIDs on it, but the LEDs are actually seem to be shining through the opposite side. The LEDs are mounted upside down. I'm not sure how you automate that process, but it also looks like it might be just tack soldered on there. It doesn't necessarily look reflow soldered. I'm not sure though, but just interesting that the LEDs are actually mounted to one side, and you can see LEDs there, but they're shining through the opposite side. Not common, but I mean, if it works, that's the way to do it. Now looking at the first board here, the upper board, you can see it's really large, and the first thing that just immediately jumps out at you is the LEDs themselves. I mean, these are all Philips Rebel LEDs. These are not cheap units, and with the number of LEDs on here, you've got 15 total per side, so 30 LEDs in here. They really spared no expense. The other thing you can immediately notice is that it is an aluminum PCB, so again, superior heat dissipation. You basically just have some really simple circuitry here, series of 3 all the way down the board, but it's really nothing uncommon. You got good thermal vias and everything like that to dissipate that heat. Once again, really, awkward shape here, but you have to make it work. One interesting thing about this board here is that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 little guy on the end here. Of course, they're not numbered that way, but there's 10 total. That doesn't work too well for driver circuits, so what you've got here on the connections is actually a P1, or a PU1, PU2, PU3, 4, 5, and 6, and I assume that's delivering to individual circuits. If you follow the traces though, you've got this 10th LED just hanging out there by its lonesome, with the power and the positive and negative side just going to that individual LED. So kind of interesting. You know, they had to do it that way in order to accommodate 10 per board. That's obviously a design choice. You know, the electrical guys did not decide on that one. That was the choice of the you know, body designers who made these lights. And of course, that corresponds with the smaller board, much smaller board. You got 1, 2, 3, and then you've got your 4 and 5 to make a set of 3 for that other set. You can see, oh, we got one damage there, it seems. We're going to be replacing these boards actually, so that's not a big deal. But again, just some simple resistors in line here, but these are just going to be taking the power directly. Now what's interesting here is there's not a whole lot of thermal protection in this board, but you know, maybe that's why they made these so darn durable. I mean, do you really need thermal protection if you're dissipating into a, you know, heat sink this massive? You know, I don't know. Clearly they thought you didn't, so you know, we'll go with them. They're designing the vehicle. But you know, I would have liked to see that. It would have been just an extra layer of protection. So finally, if we take a look at the control board here, you know, this is a pretty interesting circuit here. If anyone knows what this little chip is here, this little square, let me know. I'd love to know. You know, it might be an oscillator, it might be a crystal there. I think this is generating a pulse width signal with the little IC here in order to dim this down as necessary for driving lights. But you know, I'm not sure. I have not worked on this vehicle altogether, so I'm not sure exactly what the function is. And then we can see just a series of 1K resistors all the way down, and actually they are all the way down. You can see all the, you know, thermal vias, you know, going straight down the side of this board all the way. Otherwise, very simple board, single-sided. You know, nice automotive connector there. But otherwise, again, riveted in place, not going anywhere. So, good stuff. So that about wraps it up for the Ram 1500 boards. Obviously, the other side is just a direct, you know, reverse of this design, I assume. Really high quality, really nice job by Dodge or whoever designed this specific product for them. You know, I really like how bright this is. Unfortunately, I can't light it up. I've already desoldered it all. It'll take me some time to get it all connected. But you can see just how bright this is. Lights up really nice bright amber. These Robo LEDs are going to give out, you know, maybe 100 lumens at nominal operating current. And, you know, if I were them with this much heat sinking capabilities, I'd be running them pretty bright too. They have to be pretty bright because it's a turn signal, I think. Good design. Hope you liked it. Subscribe. Check out the next one. Catch you next time.